Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Dutch Bushcraft Knives. I'm Mickey B. And I recently did a video about my top 5 bushcraft / survival knives. And ranked number 1 was my Buck River 3V Scandivex knife. I wanted to expand a little on that because it is not my favorite survival knife. And I just wanted to talk about what makes a good survival knife. And to be honest, a knife from this size does not make a good survival knife. Of course, in a survival situation, this would be excellent, and this would be a million times better than nothing. But if you have the choice, you would go for a little bit bigger knife, like an A1 or machete or an X. Anyway, why I wanted to point out why this isn't my favorite survival knife in my collection, and this is the Falcon F1 VG10 version, is because in nature you don't have time to restore your knives completely, and because this is a much harder steel. This is 3V, which has got an HLC of 60 to 61 or something, and you don't really have the time to restore it. So if you've got a chip, which you will probably get with hacking through the bush and making paths and cutting down small trees or whatever, you haven't got the time to start really working on your knife. You really want to get a river stone, because that's probably the way you're going to sharpen your knife. You want to get a river stone and start restoring it real fast, and with that the VG10 is a perfect knife. It's got softer steel, but it's still really tough. And when I say tough, it's really tough. You can carve a lot of points to a stick, or make a lot of feather sticks, which you probably need to do a lot while surviving. And this will just keep sharp for all the time. And also the geometry of the blade, this is convex. This is a convex blade, which means that it's much easier to grab a stone and start sharpening it like this, and still keep the geometry the same, which is probably the best geometry for survival. Whereas this is probably the Scandivex is a much more robust geometry, but it's so hard to sharpen that without straight and flat stones, because you are very fast. You will go back to a more convex grind. Now this is kind of a convex grind as well, because it's not like completely Scandi, it's kind of curved a little bit like this. So it means that it's almost impossible, and again it's saving time to get this line. Anyway, another good point about the Falcon is that it's stainless, so it won't rust. Although the CPM 3V will almost not rust. If you're in very, very wet circumstances, you will really want a knife that is stainless. So even though this probably won't rust, you really don't want to need to take a risk there with the probably. In a survival situation, you just need to depend your life on a knife, literally. So you don't want it rusting if you've got it at the camp or whatever. If you just make a small mistake, you don't want to get beaten up by life itself. To go to the sheaths that they came in, of course you can always buy a different sheath. My recommendation would probably be Kydex, because you can let it get built for every knife. But a leather sheath, although obviously it can withstand fire quite a bit, but in rainy conditions this could rot or dry out and start breaking down on you. Whereas the Falcon sheath, it's plastic. What kind of plastic I can't remember, but it's completely weather resistant. You don't need you don't need to do anything to it. With this, you need to oil it in and to keep it healthy, so to speak. But with this sheath, it can handle absolutely everything, and it won't break because it's really robust. Water won't stay in the sheath, so even if it gets wet, the water won't affect the knife itself, and again, the knife itself is the Volknieven F1, which doesn't get affected by water. So the next point is that this has got skills as a handle. Although I think that the chance is really small that the skills will let go or whatever, it still is glue, and no matter how small the chance is, you really don't want to take the chance if you're in a survival situation, you know what I'm saying? And whereas with this, it's got the handle is molded around the steel, so it will never let you down. Water can't do anything. It doesn't really ever get slippery. And let me just tell you that I cut in my hand. You see the scar, and I did that with a bigger knife. But if you cut yourself real bad, whereas in this situation, I can't really imagine what would have happened if there wasn't a hospital or doctor nearby who could put some stitches into my hand, because it was bleeding so badly. And it wouldn't be a real problem. I mean, the Vikings also had huge wounds, or any old ancient warrior or whatever, but it will heal. But in a jungle, your wounds get infected so quickly that probably just a small wound on your foot, especially on your hand, can lead to death. So you really want to avoid that. And even though this handle makes the chance maybe 0.5% smaller, you really want to take that chance and grab it with everything you got. Well, I think I kind of handled everything why this is my more favorite survival knife over this one. I mean, of course, it can be a survival knife. If you have only got this knife, you're completely fine. You're gonna be so happy when you have this knife, I'm telling you. But yeah, if you've got a choice, go for maybe a little less robust steel. Even though it sounds really good, like, okay, well, it stays sharper for a long time. Yeah, but you really need to look how fast you can resharpen your knife or your steels. So that's a really important thing. And just one more thing, out of the factory, I mean, you can adjust this yourself, of course, but out of the factory, this knife, the Volknieven F1, has got a much sharper back. So when using the fire steel, you can get much greater sparks out of your fire steel than with this one out of the factory, because I don't know why, but they didn't really take a lot of care in sharpening the edge of the back. So it's got a really nice 90-degree angle, and now it's kind of rounded or whatever, and it doesn't really catch on to the fire steel that harsh. I've got fire steel here, so I can kind of show you here. If you see this, I only make small sparks, and when I get the F1, it gets it every time, and big sparks as well. So that's why I probably would go for the Volknieven F1. Even if you buy it straight out of the factory, it's a good survival knife. So, well, enough advertising for Volknieven. This was Mickey B from Dutch Bushcraft Knives. Leave a comment below if you've got a question, or if you've got a different opinion as well. We will always listen to your opinion, and we're interested in what people have got to say. So leave a comment below, like the video, and we'll see you later, people. Bye bye.